Yeah, you have to, if they're like corrupted and you have to like go and create them. Because you need like those good 4 files before you can make those files.
So, please set up, either use your personal equipment or this public, launch over external, to connect. And as I understand, everyone has an idea of what to do, right? How to progress towards your completion of your projects. I will give some couple of additional skills that you may find useful, and you will make a circle to make sure that some questions are addressed. Maybe not all, but
you don't need to start on this side. You can start on that
yes,
side.
yes, I will be even. So we will have one more. Last lab will be next week, right? And next week it will be just to tie it loose ends. It will be after your written reports are done, just in case you want to prepare better for oral presentations. So next Wednesday, I'm just giving heads up. The oral presentations are often attended by guests, not only people who are in class, but some others. And from previous years, I do remember standard questions that were posed to members of the class, and we'll try to prepare to address these questions, either verbally or by doing a couple of additional calculations. Basically, it's not a big secret. Right now, I'm giving heads up, but right now we do not have time to focus on this extra additional questions, just putting a seed of thought for the future. So each one, maybe everyone, but each second one, you'll get question how your results will change depending on choice of functional. And another question, how results will change based on the choice of basis set. And a lot of people in previous years were confused to death, because we all are doing projects with VASP. By definition, we all are using PBE functional. We are not choosing which functional to do. And we are using plain wave basis, which we also are not choosing. And by trying to answer this question, it was like, what are you asking? We do not have this choice, right? So when we meet next time, we'll go on to the templates of the in-cars for this relief, for HSE, and LDA, which also needs specific pod car. Again, we don't need to do each of these calculations. Just open your eyes and untie your hand. Yes?
So intuitively, the B3 LWP is going to redshift, blue shift things, right? So overestimate, versus the LDA is going to be probably underestimate.
Yeah. And also there is a template in car for car as well. And for choice of basis set, if you look on the templates that we borrow from this account, you do see that in all of the templates of the in-car, there is a precision equals low, right? If you carefully look through in-cars, you will see it. And you can just move it to medium or high, and it will automatically increase basis set and make calculations more precise. I encourage you not to do it right now. The price for increasing precision is high if you slow down all calculations. And same for this hybrid functionals like HSE and distributed. They will consume all of the efficiency of the code. Do it only at the last step if needed.
So currently, what are we using?
Currently, we are using.
Choice of
You are using PPE.
And plainly based.
PPE and plain base. And the reason to choose them is that they give the optimal match of numerical cost and precision. If you there is quicker, if you use LDA, it will be especially quick, but then precision will be beyond analysis, will be too low.
And same with Hodgery-Fock, could it be even lower?
Hodgery-Fock will not be cheaper. It will be lower precision and it will be more expensive. Okay, so what are we doing today? You are welcome to progress towards your completion of your projects and not listen what is going in the class. You have sufficient skills to do research in computational chemistry.
We can do both.
Well, if you feel comfortable and you progressed far enough, you can enjoy this little show and get additional skills. But it is not mandatory; it is optional. So there are three things that you may add to the arsenal of the tools. Just make sure, double check that although it was presented by several, I think by Kurt, how to make movies of the molecular dynamics. But I want to make sure that everyone can do it, and I will ask at some point everyone to send me a link of YouTube for the molecular dynamics motion based on the project that you're doing. Another skill is to, assuming that you will know how to plot orbitals, but we already discussed it. Human nature prevents us from looking into actual three-dimensional pictures. We can see only two-dimensional isosurfaces, and we cannot analyze, print, and put into presentation more than like dozen orbitals, and even dozen is a little much. So, but we need to analyze more than dozen. So the integrated orbitals. And the third skill, if time allows, one of the project, maybe more than one, deals with migration of ions and changing interatomic distances. And most of our models have like at least 50 atoms. That it is not possible to analyze each interatomic bond. And I will try to introduce so-called rarity out distribution function and share some scripts to plot it. So the benefit of this RTF function is that, did you ever heard about it? Who used or read or heard this RTF function? One pair correlation function. Okay, it's the same. who's taking course from Dr. Rubina, Angelo, on X-ray crystallography?
I was going to.
You're missing
Yeah,
a
I
lot
know.
because it will be next time in 2 years, and it is an easy course that will ramp up your score, and it is useful background. So in the, not quite in his course, but in the neutron diffractometry, there is a way to measure RDF, and I'm sure more than 2 have seen it before. So what this RDF function is, the amount of pairs of atoms that sit at a distance r. So if we measure this, and typically it is applied to crystals, but it can be done for liquids, for amorphous polymers. If we have in angstrom, and we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter which material we deal with, there will be nothing from 0 to like 0.9 angstroms. It will be 0 for any material. In case we have H2 molecules, there could be peak here at 0.9. If there is only carbons, the first peak will be at about 1.4. Depending on the interatomic lengths, peak will be at a different point. And then there is a pattern for the distance between nearest neighbors. Like first, second, then third. So each typical interatomic distance will have a peak. And it is a way to identify crystal in one of the observables that can be computed. But it is much secondary. I will do it the last thing if time allows. So before going to this, do the project. So before going to this skills. So before going to the skills, we all agree on this flow chart, right? Comparing how the thermal motion perturbs electronic and maybe some mechanical properties of and optical properties of materials. So for the integrated orbitals, you do need nothing but healthy or charge files in your directory. And here is the syntaxis of how to use it. So in the directory where you do have continuous set of or charges from, let's say, 452 to 455, typically you need much more. Otherwise this command doesn't make sense. You need it for like 100 orbitals. So you type Perl tilde bin, and then whatever is there. And in Eger Latin 5, Wasp 5.pl, and then you have two arguments. So the first orbital in your list and last orbital in your list. After you run it, it will generate files like this, and I'll provide an argument what these files are and why they're useful. Okay, this is from previous year. Let me go back to what is being done in this year, and I was trying to go over all projects. I failed. I covered maybe 4 out of 11. But I was trying for myself to understand what you guys are doing to make graphical summary. And for some of them, I'll cover this one later. For some of them, the command that we have here, integrated charge densities, are very useful. So the author recognizes his project, right? So I assume that you all feel happy about downloading ParCharge and plotting it with VMD. And please check if you have VMD on the local machines. It seems that it is there. So in this project, there is no charge transfer, but there is an idea that charge density for different orbitals shouldn't expand away from the semiconductor, so that organic ligands must serve a role of dielectrics, preventing either electrons or hole escaping this thin film, on one hand. On another hand, there is an expectation that in the thin film slab there will be, since there is a dielectric, it will be a pattern similar to particle in the box. Please give me a little sign if you do not like particle in the box, or if you do not understand what I'm talking about. Who?
And it's for what?
Yeah. Who likes particle in the box? Who hates particle in the box? Who doesn't know what I'm talking about? Okay, so here is the box, and here is the particle, right? Electron. But since it is mid, it is for you, because you did the same. So since it cannot escape the box, it should take some distribution inside the box. And there are theories that it will take distribution for different quantum states. There will be distribution with maximum in the center, with 2 maximum, and then with 3 maximum, and so forth. And it is expected that if this model system follows these trends, there will be same progressions for electrons and for the holes. But if we try to identify such progression based on 3-dimensional pictures, it could be a little hard. And there will be, what if this progression fails, if you do not see it? What if there will be several progressions interlacing with each other? What if the total number of orbitals is too large to analyze? So instead of looking on this 3-dimensional orbital, one can do this integrated that corresponds to this 3-dimensional by showing only projection on the z-axis. And in average, one can see that it follows the envelope function with either 1 or 2 maxima. Does it sound convincing to try this command? Or not yet? Okay, not everyone is convinced yet. Some of you are doing projects related to charge transfer. Some of you are dealing with projects related to charge transfer. And the idea in such projects that there are external perturbations of the system that will drive positive and negative charges to different spatial regions. This sounds very simple, but it is quite general problem applicable to broad variety of problems. So simplest application is generation of voltage and current, right? But it also relates to sensors. Some chemical reactions are activated by charge transfer. Anything with electrochemistry, so it's quite general. And also, instead of analyzing complicated 3-dimensional distributions, one can project it on one axis and see. And here one can see that this distribution of occupied HOMO is localized on one part of the system. This one is localized on the other part of the system, but if it is too expensive to plot this orbital first, one can check it on the integrated shape. And then in order to create excitations, if these two nanowires are separate in space, nothing can make electron to jump from another. One needs some mechanism, either photo or thermal excitation. And for lowest frontier orbitals, there is nothing that connects them. But if one goes higher up, there will be orbitals both occupied and unoccupied on a bridge. And they sit deep enough in the valence band and conduction band. So prior to plotting three-dimensional orbitals, one can plot all one-dimensional, integrated, and then identify which orbitals are better. So the goal of this kind of motivation speech is go to your directory where you have a healthy set of R-charged orbitals, which you were invited to create. But if you didn't, I will make a circle and make sure that you have them. And try to practice this command and generate files with this integrated information. There is nothing in the board or on a slide showing how to plot them, but it is pretty trivial. I will demonstrate it, how to do this, how to plot these images based on the data. Basically, the files will have just two columns of data: value of the coordinate and value of charge density. Do we have anything else on charge? No. Oh no, this one would be also great. So if you align your system, so this will be z-axis, then you can plot and identify which states have charge transfer across the interface, which are delocalized. So for your project, it will be useful for sure. And I just didn't have time to go over all projects. Such things are useful for everyone.
Did you say anything about my project when I was in the bathroom?
No. But your project is partially similar to this one, but in your project there will be no reason to look in this direction. It would be more interesting to explore along horizontal direction, and then you need to rotate the model. I'll stop by and check. Movies. Who has doubts in practical skill of creating movie? Okay. Who is very comfortable in making movie and uploading to YouTube? Who is not super comfortable but thinks it's possible? Okay. Who would appreciate a little help and suggestions in making movies? Okay.
The only issue I would have is like JMOL.
No. Making movies that can be uploaded to YouTube and inserted into PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Not visualizing for yourself, making it presentable to others.
So you're saying you don't even want like the visualization or the movie that we see on like JMOL?
No, JMOL doesn't count. JMOL is for your personal entertainment.
Yeah, you're saying that doesn't count for the video that is taken. Okay.
So, are there any doubts about value of the movie, of the movies that you can insert into PowerPoint and upload to YouTube? No? Everyone happy that it is useful?
Okay, so what kind of video are you looking for? So I think we were just looking at the molecular dynamics.
Yes, video of molecular dynamics. So I'll show some examples of on the material of what is being done in class. So I didn't insert actual movies in my slide because it becomes too heavy already, but if you do have a movie, you can analyze why do we need a movie? What is the benefit?
See what's happening in the process.
So if you deal with crystalline materials, you just see how much the crystal structure is perturbed, and you can intuitively assess if it will likely affect electronic properties. Eventually, you may see some bonds are breaking, and it is immediate evidence that some electronic properties will be affected. But substantial amount of us in the class are dealing with either polymers, molecules, transport of ions, or substantial change of interatomic coordinates is needed. Sometimes just flow and migration, sometimes chemical reactions. And it is best possible thing to analyze reaction by looking at snapshots of the movie. So I've borrowed this data from Mary from her project. So she did a molecular dynamics of this, she knows better.
The epoxy.
Epoxy precursor, and the goal is to open this epoxy group and participate in the reaction, which is quite a challenge. And by looking several steps, so it's moving slowly, and you guys will show movies in your presentations. I'm picking just a couple of slides. If one looks through several times, it shows how the bond of oxygen to carbon breaks and how additional oxygen sticks here. And then by looking at a movie, one can identify and deduce the chemical reaction. Yes?
And to comment, in experiment, they're seeing an issue with this material that it may take a long time for it to actually cure. So this process is showing the formation and curing process, which may continue longer than they anticipated. So this is, it compares nicely to experiment.
Okay. And another motivation example. I'm trying to do something that will find pathway to heart of at least one person in the audience. Otherwise, if I show something away from the class, it will be not interesting. So I've borrowed these things from Gage, and here one does see molecular dynamics of gas, of mix of two precursors, and as time passes by, the original intact molecules change their configuration. So some bonds are broken, some are established. And if one just goes snapshot by snapshot, one can see how different molecules appear and different intermediate products appear, and then one can identify them on the chart of the reaction pathway. So I suggest the following. I will start a circle around the class, and you can do one of the three things. Just do whatever you were planning to do anyway, or plot orbitals for your model, both three-dimensional and projected. And third, create a movie that is uploadable to YouTube. If you please do the steps either if they are not done, or especially if you need help with these steps, so that I'll stop by and help. And I'll try to run something here as a demonstration first, and then we'll start the circle very soon.
Okay.
Can you, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can you show like the first initial steps of the bar charge? Like.
Okay, I will select one of the projects, and we'll just do it on example.
Okay.
So so are these understood, or do you use to make class files? Okay, more alcohol. I'll show you what I'm looking for just a second. As soon as I find it.
Ben? So the integration of part charge and orbitals are very much related to your project.
And that's why I'm in it right now.
Super. Good.
I'm not even there yet, so.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So, yeah, so cable 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever cable you have the number, band energy, combination. I want you to look at your own card.
I'm going to generate orbitals and do steps needed for this.
Bring the computer here.
So you okay that you're on mic now?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. So that
Yeah, I'm totally okay.
So here, here is the template of the in-car, right?
So you copied your in-car from where? Just any?
No. Binary in-car dash PC. PC is not for personal computer, it is for part charge.
Got it, so I need that in-car.
You need that template. And then we are looking into, now it is in the directory where I'm going to work.
Right, okay.
480.
And you see, it is not recommended to build in-car yourself, but you can put this L part through, L sep p through, and build it from the scratch. But it's better to use just
So you already
templates.
have one that's good enough?
Not quite.
Okay.
So you see here is the command n band
Oh, you
equals.
gotta put your bands in there.
Yes.
Got it.
So I'm looking for this
I just highlighted everything with my
NBA,
mouse and the right-click copy.
which is not National Basketball Association. So 192.
Try tail minus n 900 alcohol. So hit Control C.
No. In car. So I'm going to the line and bands, and I already forgotten what I found, but
You
it,
said 192 was the number.
okay. Thank you. 192. And there is another thing where we need to modify. So this
Okay,
energy interval.
I see you have that DE
Yeah,
building.
int. How do I learn what to put there?
So find it from the outline.
Yes, I'm looking inside the out car. To the place where
Change this number.
there is a list of
You get all the way to
orbitals.
So just play around with that number.
So the HOMO 112 and it is -5,
And
right?
you might wanna-
Okay, so you gotta put that number.
And I need to, no, I want a range of orbitals, so I will do maybe from -7 to like 0,
Okay.
right? So it will cover like 20 orbitals. So
Oh,
for,
I see where you're going, okay.
okay? So going here from -7 to 0. And then I'm just copy cont car into postcard just in case there was some substantial optimization. And it is very important to see if there is a non-zero wave car. So there are some numbers, so it has some data in it, hopefully healthy. And now I'm just submitting a job. So for part charges, debug is more than enough,
Okay.
especially if you need like 10 or 20 with guarantee. And now I will do nothing. I will just wait until they are generated. I will do.
So you have all your normal files in there, you have the cost car and the pot car?
Yes, they're there. I have inherited them from optimization. And now I'm at mids directory.
Right. Yeah, it's place to be.
Okay, so you can see it. Now type, now do the same thing again, and then type greater than.
Okay. I will go ahead and do that first, so.
Yes,
by
please
the
do.
time you
Please,
around,
please,
yeah.
please, please do.
No, type do greater than after output. And then, we're gonna make a new file called states. States all capital. And then hit enter. Yeah, and then, you guys have to get into your states.
You guys listen.
No, not more, we need a text. You have to actually edit the file. Okay, so we need to get rid of everything before and after that we column list. So only the 3 column list should be in the file.
And you see now in real time it starts generating the spot charge files.
Oh.
So as we wait through this progression, it will generate several of those. And what we are doing is basically an analog of Gaussian operation cube gen.
Okay.
Okay, so that is with 10 lines. So 100, 200,000. I got to go to the bathroom again.
It's all like coffee, right?
Water.
Oh, water.
And it goes quite optimistic, so it's spent only 2 minutes and it has generated already like half dozen files. So this, especially if system is small, it's like quick run. If part charge is the only thing that you need, some systems can be run on Photon. It's one of the few jobs that are okay to run there.
Right, it's just grabbing orbitals, so it's not.
But Kurt, if you inspect your directories, you may notice there were some new subdirectories appeared today. So, and in them, I modified your key points. Originally, you had key points distribution like 2, 1, 1, with 2 key points in X direction. I did remove it because most of the codes work much better for like gamma point only. And for making absorption and density of states and orbitals, it is it's not impossible to do just along key points, but it is much easier for gamma point.
Okay. So is that why everything's taking? Was that why everything was taking so long?
It's just maybe factor 2. It's not much. We'll wait until Kevin comes and he will intellectually help. Kevin, can you please explain why one doesn't need or why we can approximately neglect for some time distribution of key points and do all calculations in gamma point, to your understanding?
Why you can neglect K points and do all calculations in gamma point?
Mm-hmm. It is what you do right now. So you did you explored the dispersion curves, right? And then you made another directories where the K point file includes only one point in each direction, and they all are set at 0 gamma point. What is the value of this approximation, and what is the benefit? Why it is possible and why it is recommended? Because you are doing it, and Kurt is also going to do the same. Just it's not an exam, just your vision.
Okay, I guess by keeping K points on 1. I mean, K points means like a K space. So we're only looking at one period of that solid. So by changing K points 1, I mean we're just looking at like one particular period of that solid. If we made K points more than 1, we'd be looking at like 5 or 6 periods of it.
Okay, so it is more academic justification. And is there any practical benefit of using one K point instead of many?
The computational. All right, so the computational power for like I'm guessing more than 1 K point is probably like too large. If we make the K points just 1, it'd be computationally more feasible.
When you did your little exploration, when you explored dispersion curves, did you see any curvature of your HOMO and LUMO orbitals, or it was basically flat? Just tell your observations.
Most of them, if I remember correctly, were flat lines.
Okay, flat lines. So there is no reason to look for different K points. Okay, and most of the codes we are doing, they are optimized and designed for gamma point. So if you do not have specific reason to look for distribution of K points, try to avoid it. Okay. Enough? We can interview Nathan. Why neglecting K point distribution and using gamma point only is good?
Why? If it's not moving, then maybe. If
Well,
it has no momentum, then it's just gonna.
Basic justification is as follows. It is great to look at dispersion curves, and then if you identify that energies of orbitals substantially change with K, then you cannot neglect. But if they do not change at a different case, then why make extra effort?
Yeah.
Another thing, if your simulation cell consists of a lot of unit cells,
Yep.
then n unit cells with gamma point is equivalent with 1 unit cell with n k points. Okay? Good.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to low power charge into VND.
Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it to everyone, but
That was my main issue right now.
where are your other windows? This one? No, and there is a file here. Graphics representation. So change points to solid surface, and then drag this. Okay. And
Is
also,
there a way to load
yes,
it?
yes. Please navigate me to. You need to have cont.car or postcar
Okay.
on the local machine. Okay, this job looks done.
I'm doing it for my system right now, so.
Very good, very good. And now I am going to practice this command that I listed on the
Hold on, I have a pen.
blackboard. So bend in grade 5, WASP 5, and
How many hours on debug?
on debug you cannot do more than half an hour.
Alright, yeah, right now.
So 30 minutes was fine for this one?
Absolutely,
Oh.
absolutely. And if you need more orbitals, you can adjust your energy interval and do another job. Making several short jobs is much more efficient than one long. So I'm looking how many orbitals I do have. So here it goes from 98 to 124, right? And I just list them. So from 98 to 124, and just hit enter. Huh? What?
So, that one.
Okay.
So looking at the outcome, and I'm noticing.
The code is a little sensitive when number of digits changes. So instead of 98, I started at 100. And if it works in a healthy way, then it just lists out file size of the cell and number of grid points, and then it takes a little time.
So this is this graphing it then?
No.
It was producing the orbitals.
It.
Kind of?
No. I like the questions and they help to. No, not here. Yes. So when you do generate part charge files, you can immediately plot them in VMD, and they will look about this way.
Okay.
Right? But it is quite expensive procedure, and if some patient people can do like 200 orbitals and enjoy watching them one after another. If I need to calm down, it is what I do. But some people lose patience, and instead of looking at the three-dimensional pictures, one can project three-dimensional orbital into one-dimensional orbital. So it's the same orbital, but we are neglecting dependence on x and y and look only on dependence on z.
Okay.
And this command band integrate. It is what converts this three-dimensional into one-dimensional.
So with my system, we should see some radicals or some like density in certain parts distributed.
I do not see immediate benefit, but it's worth of checking.
I'm doing the anion cases first.
Wait. In case a part of model is about to participate into reaction, very often chemical reactions are associated with local charge transfer.
I have a feeling that the cation case is going to be the one that shows that because it has the lowest energy. So I feel like the anion case is just going to show the progression. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just the first one. That one. Okay, do GRE determine outcome.
Okay, so I do have directory where I started. So most interested person should be me, right? So you do have per charge files with uppercase, and you have per charge files with lowercase. Again, my goal is to avoid plotting each single one of these orbitals and select only the most interesting ones. And I'm going those ones. If you do ls minus lt, if you look for how heavy these files are, they are like 13 megabytes each, which is not terribly much. You can send one file per email message. But if your system is a little bigger, it's become a little exhausting. But if you look on this one-dimensional, they're like 7 kilobytes. They're nothing. They're like sand. And they carry basically the same scientific information. And they're very easy to process. So what I'm going to do is to run GNU plot. Do set term dump. And then I'm going to plot, let's say 112, which is about HOMO, using 1.2 with line.
Who's draining all the nodes? Just kidding.
So there is a way to make these lines much better, and I will show how to plot it in the real high quality. But if you need just to identify what is going on just for yourself, this quality could be sufficient. So this is HOMO, one more is LUMA. Okay, it's already interesting. So you see that between HOMO and LUMA there is a charge transfer. They are localized in different parts of the model. Maybe for the system, using 1.2 this line. Maybe for this system, plotting three-dimensional images of HOMO and LUMA would be sufficient. I don't know, but I will try to just plot HOMO and LUMA in three-dimensional and one-dimensional ways. So if I do need this image, I can put here, swap the x and y, and I can also give so now y-axis is angstrom, set y label z, angstrom, and then I can set term post, maybe portrait. Set out orbitals 112, 113, postscript, and then just replot. And now I can exit the plot, and there will be the file that ends with PS, and we know that as soon as we see file ended with PS, we just type postscript to PDF write, and now we can download it and plot it. So I am opening another directory for another terminal for file transfer. Mid? Were you synchronizing your NERSC data and your photon data?
Yeah. There's maybe one or two folders not fully merged.
Okay, but they are kind of.
Yeah, they're always together.
Okay.
Oh. Mid, please have a look if I'm not violating anything in your directory by this command. So it will not change anything at your NERSC, but it will bring files from NERSC to your photon.
Well, everything's in progress. Everything's copied over from NERSC. You're saying Corey is in NERSC?
Yeah, from Corey to
then
photon.
That should be correct.
So this shouldn't violate any of your intentions. You have 3 seconds to say no. 1, 2.
Worst case scenario, I'd make DOS files. Other than that, we're good.
That's the two numbers you should try.
So you don't mind?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
I think the intention was to make your life easier.
Yeah, he's not right.
Do LS myself.
No, his life easier, my life easier as well.
Before the head, do a horizontal mark.
In your integrated set,
Yeah. So good, we have them, this TOS family, TOS from, okay, that's good. Yeah, do you know how to use the new plot to plot it? Alright, use the skill that I have.
So the next step here.
Yeah, literally has to be small. And then convert it to a PDF.
So maybe changing.
Yes.
Oh, so this is after you've done it.
You got the S.
Original.
Not sure why it's saying.
Yeah, I think this was.
Okay, so do the head thing again. You know how to convert that to your home directory or wherever you are. Alright, do that, and then as soon as we finish, open it, and then let's see if we have to write that. If it looks good.
So I'm going to download a couple of files onto local. So I do need print car. Okay, let me do this desktop for now. I do need the
So that 30 minutes is you could just increase that. Debug is. Might be like it's just. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while to figure it out. But if you just want to get it as quickly as possible, I'm not actually sure.
I feel like we should be calculating things for the for like NASA or something like that, or doing like, you know, orbital calculations or something.
Like in the movie Hidden Figures?
What?
Like the movie Hidden Figures with all those black women?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Okay, is it good?
I haven't seen it either, don't worry.
They talk about Euler's method of integration in it. And I was really excited to watch a movie that brought up Euler's method.
Really? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's see if we can do it right.
I hope you like my work, Kills.
Is this the TOS? What? What you have on the ground? So this is photographs. Yeah, yeah, I don't think that controls the debate.
So I'm going to plot three-dimensional orbitals. If you are proficient in that, you do not need to watch it. I keep doing your things. So I start with putting the
Well, here's the time, it's today at 6:13, that's like 2 minutes ago.
I'm starting from putting the conc car and setting up the file name as wasp postcar. So it does load the model. After the model, atomic model itself is inserted, on the top of that, I'm adding the orbital. Like I believe this is HOMO. So
Okay, I'll make it directly.
to open, I need to set up the
Yeah, whenever you're
type of this file. So wasp bar chart in the drop-down menu, and then do load. So some of us can get stuck at this point because I did open the file with orbital and nothing is being seen. So if you want to actually see your orbital, you need to go to graphics, representation. Oh, hello Siri. Did you ask Siri what it will be like 1 divided by 0?
No.
You should try.
Okay.
I have an acquaintance, 10-year acquaintance, who likes and asks this question to Siri several times each day. So you do not see anything because of two reasons. Here it shows that it draws points, which will be invisible, or almost not visible. And ISO value is not of the right So you replace points to solid surface, and you pull this. You pull this bar until you start seeing something here. Make sense? And the only bad thing that you cannot see through this gray clouds, but there is a way to select them transparent. And also make them colorful. And I remember Ben was teaching everyone how to change background in Gaussian. One can do it also in VMD. Like background. And you also may want to make a little bit more bold images for this. So instead of lines, dynamic ones.
Is the 112, is that the HOMO on this particular system?
I believe so.
Okay. A little better visualization. And there is a way to plot more than one orbitals on the same image, and we may try to practice it. So going here and add new molecule, and the molecule they understand any object. So HOMO orbital will be also object, and you need to tell which type of the file, so it is per charge.
So then use SBatch and whatever Edison
load
program you want.
And it will be also on the first instant it will be not visible, but if we make sure that we are here focused on this per charge 113, instead of points we select solid surface, and we pull this bar.
What's the difference between that and Edison?
See, it is on this group. Right now I'm getting doubts that 12 and 13 are HOMO and LUMO because charge density sitting on
So
the
Professor telling you to use that regular debug or
NO2 group is typically appropriate for occupied orbitals. Me? I want to learn from you. In your model, what is number of HOMO?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
Can you check it? Okay.
Is that
Okay, let me check myself then.
okay.
So we are going to the list of orbitals and looking which orbital. Okay, 110 is HOMO, and this 111, 113. Oh no, we have HOMO and LUMO. Okay. Okay, and now in this VMD we can color occupied with blue and unoccupied with red, but it's personal preference.
Yes, we need one card. This is what? Yeah, I mean, like, you're not supposed to have the wave part initially, but the okay. Yeah, you don't need a wave part initially, but the S-Spec should create one. Right.
Is it possible to plot too many orbitals?
Huh?
Is it possible to plot too many orbitals?
To what?
Too many orbitals?
You see, it makes a little delay for the equipment, but there are no limitations. You can. One year I had a member of this class a couple of years ago who plotted 20 orbitals on one image by going through like rainbow. Not one with blue and red, but also like greenish, yellowish, and telling story how they interact. Maybe it was too much. So what we have here is model that Mead is exploring, and blue is occupied, solid line here is having maximum in the range between 4 and 8 angstrom, and red is unoccupied, that has maximum in the range from 10 to 12 angstrom. And if you make horizontal lines, this peaks and position of this colorful blobs are correlated.
Nice.
Okay, so for Ben it is very much recommended to analyze and explore maybe more than 2 pairs of orbitals, especially if they are both localized in quantum dot, it likely will absorb into Mead, and if one is on die and on dot, then it will be a charge transfer state.
So is that gap between those two peaks somewhat dealing with like the D West gap, density of states gap?
Absolutely no. Absolutely no.
Okay.
Do you hear the question of Mead?
No, repeat the question.
It may sound strange, but it is very important because there are decepting concepts, and if you present your research, your results to people who are not in this class, right?
Yeah.
It can create like deception. So there are peaks, there is density,
Yes.
and we were always talking about density of states and also distance between peaks.
Right. but
Homa and
we're
Luma.
only in the positive, so that means,
Do you see this ambiguity?
yeah, I see it.
So it is more on linguistics. There is nothing with science. For you as scientists, it's clear that there is nothing common. But you need to be able to explain what's the difference. So when we speak about density of states, our x-axis, our argument is energy, right? So it is imaginary space of energies. And here is a real Cartesian space, position in space in angstroms, right? So if we have this peak corresponding to this state here, it just and another there, it means that if you promote an electron from HOMO to LUMO, from between these orbitals, you will move your charge in space. By exciting electron from blue to red, you create charge separation. And you can make this conclusion without looking without plotting this three-dimensional image, looking only on here. One solid line has peak here, and dashed line has peak there. It means that if you excite from one to another, It means your charge in average moves in space.
Okay.
Okay, so the dot line is represents what? Or the dashed line represents?
Those are different orbitals.
Dash line corresponds to red blobs. Solid line corresponds to blue blobs. But these three-dimensional blobs are three-dimensional and lines are one-dimensional. But they represent the same object.
It's supposed to be homo, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And some of you asked about polarance. If there is some charge transfer, the excitation will have some similarity to polarance. It will create some nuclear reorganization, and it will be main driving force while why bonds are expected to break easier if system is in an excited state. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's inspect this directory for car. Let's see. Pull FMD. MD 500K. Good. Interesting. Good. At some point, you may decide that you do not want to show the objects that you have on the screen, but maybe later you need to return to them. So instead of deleting them from memory, you can select them and tell molecule toggle display. So it will be still in the memory, but you just remove it from screen. If you do have molecular dynamics, generally we were creating the movie.xyz file. But in fact, if there is a healthy molecular dynamics, it is sufficient to look on the outcar file. So outcar file from the directory where you correctly run molecular dynamics will be readable by the VMD. If you use other pieces of software for like movies and visualizations, they will not accept it. But VMD is designed for this purpose.
Okay, I have a question.
Just a second.
Sure.
So this model looks like it is already broken. It is already experiences it was not optimized sufficiently, and by the time of molecular dynamics is it has this cyano group that goes away. But it's interesting chemistry, and it would be reasonable to report it, right? So
Okay, so it looks like you have a R file.
so the bond here is not sufficient, and it is already broken. And as far as molecular dynamics goes, it will be broken further and further. So we are not discussing the science, although it is really interesting. Let's just visualization, movie maker. Desktop. And here we are coming to the situation with video Mac that on the card is expert. Is it possible to install video Mac on this local computers, or it will require a password? Huh?
It's not standalone. It makes adjustments to the. I don't think you'll be able to actually install software unless you're an administrator.
Okay. Then it's still needed to run this make movie procedure on your local equipment. But the steps are: you select the working directory name and movie settings trajectory, and you click create a movie. But if this video mark is not placed, it will bring an error. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I have a quick question. I did not get the par charges in this. Something went wrong. Because I thought I had the process down, but I don't think.
This should be easy.
Why are you doing it on a query? Are you sure that the job did complete?
I wasn't sure, actually.
So now on their time zone is 16 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and this file was created. It's okay. Let's just rerun it. Is there a way to copy?
Oh, you just have to do the right click, paste, and
Good.
okay, so it's creating them.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why it didn't do it before.
I know.
So you're doing.
But you can stop and scroll up and look for. So your input file seems healthy.
So I should probably. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Converted to PDF, and I think that's going to be empty because
I was trying to plot the density of state, and with this command it gives me these messages again and again.
Okay, I'll check.
And
Why are you doing that on Photon, not on Corey or Edison?
no reason.
Huh?
Sorry?
Why are you doing that Photon instead of like Corey or Edison?
No reason. I thought that
It-
all of them.
Yes, but there is a chance that some of those files are not right protected, and each of if some of you is upset with instructor or classmates, can screw the whole work by modifying files. So please don't. Yeah, it's empty. The DOS is empty. It's not a problem with things. Your DOS Fermi. Let's look how you created it. Okay.
I took
From
380 to 580.
Wait. So your energies go from like 3 to 10.
So is that especially well, we can still, I can still show you what to do with that, so that when it's done, I can do it.
How many atoms?
190.
How many electrons?
I forgot that. 960. Yes.
Okay, no, see, it's non-zero.
So what mistake I did?
I don't know. I don't know what you mistake, but if you do right things, you do right address. And now let's go back to your Google plot. Okay, download and look. How are you? Oh, you have a lot of orbitals. Did you try to integrate them?
Yeah, I integrated them. I don't really. Well, I integrated some of them, not all of them.
Okay, but it's most interesting to integrate in the vicinity of HOMA and LUMA.
Yeah, which is
Okay,
right there.
good.
So,
Do you have an idea how to plot them,
I
or it is a question
no.
that you want to ask?
Yeah, that's one of the questions I want to ask. But currently, I'm trying to figure out how to plot the absorption spectrum because I haven't been able to get that to work because it keeps giving me like segmentation fault.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Okay, I'm supposed
And
to do it.
you better do it on Corey or Edison. So I remember that Nathan was able to fight this problem, and David was able to fight the problem how to plot absorption spectrum for big models and which specific version of code to use, right? So if I fail to answer, they're certified experts. They recently were able to solve it. Can I have a keyboard and try something? Okay. Why from 1 to? It's too many.
There's too many.
Yeah, it's there is nothing wrong, but it is an unnecessary complication. And you do need. Well, I don't care for the course and for the grade, but if you're doing true research, you need to do spin polarized. This is a bad sign for singlet. This is you shouldn't have fraction orbitals.
Okay.
So your system is in doublet state.
Ah.
It is what I was emailing you. and asking, did you resolve it? So we need maybe from 300 to 500.
So you haven't successfully completed the process yet?
No, I was just saying, that presentation you guys will.
Well, I think that's
Mm.
Probably.
okay. I'm playing catch up. Okay, so it's not this is really anything successfully. I'll hand you a nice little quick exam getting how it feels. I thought you already figured out you're just struggling with
Go back to the file, even though the S batch isn't done yet, work with what's already been done.
Okay. Better. You're still so much above any TD-DFT calculations. You have 10,000 excited states, which I promise you will never get with Gaussian and TD-DFT. What's next? I'll stop by your place again.
Okay.
So we go from 301 to 501. To 500, okay. And you do have healthy wave. Yes, we do. And now we are going from science to the art. We need to identify one of the working scripts, which are V3. No, this likely will not work. OS typo V. Probably it was a test version that shows some intermediate data to see that it doesn't make error. I'm tired of watching it. Let's do. At least it doesn't bother us. Again, I'm very impatient. Let's do it this way.
And it just immediately projected. It ran, but didn't produce anything other than a car. And I was like, oh, now it's producing all the pressure just because no one did this division.
What? Okay, maybe. Okay, I'll practice patience. Maybe we can look on something else.
Yeah, that was me trying to plot it.
I'll call her that. I think it's the day, but
some of them were compiled for.
Okay, so if you figure this out today, can you show me tomorrow after class?
Yes, I can, but part of it is missing right now. So modify the
That also gives us the segmentation fault after.
That's that second currently.
So 100 or 300?
Number 30. How fast do you want your movie to actually run? How fast do you want the movie to actually run fast? You have to ask the number of steps. The more steps you have, the less training and the more they will be. So if you did 300 steps, then you get 10 seconds of motion. So you get 10 seconds.
Yeah, they probably were compiled at
So what, after I run this and everything's done, what's the new file it'll create?
Movie.xyz.
Okay.
Champion? Okay. I remember that you took some made up name. And where we are? Okay.
Yes. Are you
Yeah, I'll take a look at this.
get free?
You're a very appropriate person for Los Alamos National Lab because they're crazy about security and you do it naturally.
I'll show you the rest of the steps. Is it done?
Something is developing.
So now,
Good. So we do not need to design bicycle. This looks healthy. Let's inspect what is inside.
Everything should be copied except CD. Yeah, no space between car and old.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, and then, so you remember what we did for that states file with the tail thing?
Okay.
Process over again?
Yeah, except states, it'll be called energy pop. So energies underscore pop, all lowercase.
CPU's file will go in there. Just find it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, tail minus N. How come?
from doubly occupied to unoccupied. And it will be, this file will be sufficient to plot absorption spectrum. The only thing that it will miss your fractional occupation.
Mm-hmm.
And typically in the open gap,
You ready for Fridays?
if you would redo the system with spin polarization, with I spin equals 2, and use the same script which is already pre-made to treat models with spin.
Yeah, that's the one we like.
This procedure will be a little easier. It will take into account
Flame retardant components. I'm going to talk about.
both spin up and spin down.
Just tried for it. I was the first one who grabbed it.
Okay, so
um,
in the for density space, we have like all these orbitals, but in here we're gonna shorten the list. We're only gonna include the 100 orbitals before LUMO and 100 after LUMO. So then the 930 minus plus and minus 100, the orbitals in that rank are the only ones we're keeping.
The darkest color. The darkest black. Okay. Then B8ND. Okay.
9800. There is one more column, so it may resist, but we'll find out.
Yeah, 399 is homo.
Okay, delete everything except the 100 orbitals before and after the HOMO.
Okay. Okay, here's the spectrum, and we can do it in like better resolution in regular graphical file.
Somehow your number is getting out of line. So I went over 160.
And if one needs to focus on specific range, like from 1 to 3, one way.
I just talked about 3 papers, very, very brief stuff, so I think just
So
don't
it's
worry
like
about it.
typical
It's
for
like
quantum dots, right?
Basic. It's not super fantastic, I just wanted to get it done.
And I can set X range from like 300 to 3000 and plot versus nanometers. Okay, we do not need 3000, we need maybe 900.
Yeah.
Same.
It's including HOMO and LUMO. Yeah.
So
It doesn't matter if the exact number, if there's like 200 and 1, 202, just make sure there's
Beam.
approximately 100 orbitals after that. Yeah.
So we do need from like 0. We can do generic, but it will show too many. The range will be too broad. 4. Let's see if it will work. No, okay. Let's quickly. I think it was human shaking hand of someone. So you'll be able to transfer and watch, right? Do you have questions about this integrated orbitals?
Well,
Or not quite? Or you're not yet there?
I don't know how to plot them in GNU Ply.
Oh, it's easy, same as this stuff, or
Do you have like a script for it, or do you need to do it manually?
manually, because each time individual numbers of orbitals are different, so there is, and it is not as hard.
So now we're going to create a file called input overlap. So
By the way, if the you didn't they're here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Photon does have the.
The first orbital in your energy pop file and the last one. So find the first and last orbital in your energy pop file. Yeah, what's the orbital?
And if you are going to align your model vertically, it's maybe better this way.
Input overlap.
Is the system designed for whole transfer or charge or electron transfer?
First orbital, last orbital, and then one.
What is the system designed for?
Yes.
That's a good question.
No. Each problem has first and last name.
Yeah.
Each problem has a very clear goal.
Yep.
You don't start to solve problem until you know what's the goal, and you have a right to object in front of your advisor, telling like, explain me who in the world will get benefits if I solve this problem. It's, little monetary compensation is not enough.
That would, WCOS strength. No, wait. Never mind. Don't do that.
I'm trying to think what.
Do this command right
What
here.
we actually did with the system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks like whole transfer system. So here is likely orbital localized on quantum dot, and here is the orbital localized on your die or hybridized. Let's check it. Do you have copies of this orbitals on on this machine?
We can just load up rest
Okay, we ran into a problem, so. Try using this script right here.
That's a weird order to do it in, but yeah. These
A, B, C. Okay. So before it is too late, I do have a suggestion.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of useful scripts like this and others that rely on donor and acceptor being aligned along the C-axis.
Try that previous command one more time.
So I would rotate it.
Yeah, that one.
I would rotate it along X by 90 degrees first, and then maybe do something else in addition.
Okay, so good job. We'll try this command then. We'll see if it works.
Well, this is not quite needed. CD. So what should we need to rotate along? So red is X. So we need 90 degrees along X. First we do pause car to XYZ of this. And then we remove Oscar and do rotate XYZ. So along X we rotate by 90 degrees. 90, 0, 0. How long did it took for a single point?
How long did it take for a single point?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But we definitely take only a single point, assuming that your geometry is already good. And maybe I suggest that we do right away I spin.
Well, just give it 5 more minutes. So it's
Copy, submit, anything that ends with H. No? Oh, period. And then is batch. Edison. Debug. Okay, it's already running. It's 1 by 1. Which? So this would be right thing to do, but I do not have patience. Let's remove iSpin because it will be at least twice quicker. Copy everything into there, and VI in car. We remove iSpin and we add, there is a way of it's a wrong thing to do for good results, but it speeds up things. As batch. No. Edison.
No, for the other class coding.
Oh, that was last week.
Okay, so okay.
This is from previous run because I copied everything.
Yeah,
but
everybody's all under me.
it will override it in a second.
I haven't started mine yet, but then next Tuesday, so I'm gonna start with that tomorrow.
Yeah, everything hit me at once.
Train. Yep.
And the number here is smaller because like number of orbitals twice is smaller. We know it is not quite correct, but we just want to orient. Okay, now I'm confident it will complete within 30 minutes of this debug queue. Yeah, you could also rotate it in such a way that you will be absolutely oriented, like between center of this and center of this. So this one on a quantum dot, this is on the die 99, the HOMO is on the die. So the goal of this model is whole transfer. Well, you can look further for like practical applications like solar cell or cancer therapy, but technical goal is facilitate whole transfer, excite both electron hole and quantum dot, and as time passes by, it transfers positive charge on the die. And this is LUMO, right?
Yes.
So LUMO stays on the quantum dot, and this is very small percent, and hole is on the die. Very good. Very interesting. The singlet is like doublet or whatever spin polarization is needed because you have transition metal. It is single, and while we experience transition from ground to excited, from excited singlet to charge transfer, there are generally independent of the system. There can be, if you have one charge going in and out of this metal organic complex, there is a chance that it will go to metal and change number of electrons by one. And as we know from inorganic, one needs to take it carefully.
Yeah, they weren't ever written.
So the loop will be aborted at step 20, just to save our time.
So delete those 4 files with nothing in it.
How long do you take? About like 3 minutes. So I'm gonna could give even more ambitious task and look for let it to optimize until converges. But still, it error is tends to get smaller. So it's, in this case, it was not big loss. 5 cars.
Yeah, the first 50 and last 50.
Well, this added quite a bit. Is there a fast redo amplify or not really?
So go to the very top and type D100, and then it'll delete the first 100 lines after that. Go to the very top of your file.
It just kept repeating this over and over.
You kept repeating what?
It just kept repeating this.
So charged car is expected to be twice as heavier than charge. So when this number will go to 6, it probably will complete the whole job.
Okay, X out of there and then remove it.
Oh, and you have a walk pod. That's good. Remember, David Grosvenor was giving presentation in undergraduate camp. Do you remember?
Energy knob.
Or you don't care?
I don't remember.
Okay, but he was getting atomistic potential which attracts electrons. This is hidden in this walk pod. And if you are a big supporter of Gaussian, it relates to ESP map. And if you are a big supporter of academic writing of equations, then it is Goncham potential, three-dimensional, which is negative, attractive near the ions and close to zero between ions. It is in CG. I do not know how to read this abbreviation, but it's close to completion.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so what were the names of files there? Pre-absorption.
Yeah, before heating.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Cadmium, selenium, pre-absorption in car. Or maybe I just fear to erase something useful. I know it's a little stupid. Copy in car from here to there. More in car. From minus 14. From minus 14.
I just put what I had for my DOS.
Yeah, you can go from minus 4.2 to like 2. Okay, that's it. And now we do once again. Am I losing anything? It will overwrite out car, but it is not very valuable. Okay, and
Or the model you were talking about.
switch. So why I started this activity, I don't know, maybe it was too ambitious. Right now, the let's see.
You can align it using these.
Thank you. But right now, yeah, good.
Okay, I think you should be done in a couple minutes.
So right now,
So what if it actually just reduce our precision?
red is this
So
orbital,
maybe the first
and
session
green is
that
this one.
It wasn't working because
So
our
if we
energy pop was too long and had a lot of states. So maybe we're trying to
expand
shorten it.
this one
We made the
and a
computation
little
jump easier, you know?
shrink this
So
one.
it might eventually figure itself out, but we're gonna figure this out.
Right.
Look, here,
Or
red,
maybe it would have taken 15 minutes
here,
or an hour
green.
to do it.
But it is not very informative. In some sense, they're overlapping, and this is big. If you would do this integration in this direction, it will be more helpful. And then, right now we're looking on 2 orbitals, but with this tool we can quickly scan through like 100 orbitals. And I know that drag and drop is not very hard. You can do it a lot, but then you need to watch on them, analyze them, represent. It just okay. And try to like it would be. Do not worry about like, gradient completion of the course, but for the sake of the project and for the sake of truth, scientific truth, try to do like complete whatever you're doing, but on the second layer, try to do those spectrum with I spin equals 2. And for density of states with I spin equals 2, it will be like spin up and spin down. They will look different, and it can bring some scientific insight.
Do WC space OS.
You just doing this dose and analyzing it, you can come to conclusions. Okay.
So that 2592 will do that.
One more small bit. I was trying to draw the absorption spectrum based on that image, but this column is not working for me. I don't know.
It will work not on Photon but on the Edison. I was giving commands for Edison.
Oh, okay. So I cannot do absorption spectrum in photon?
You can, but Edison is better.
So how to transfer files from photon to Edison?
Let's ask the audience. How to transfer files from Photon to Edison?
SCP.
See? But where you should be during typing SCP, on Photon or on Edison?
Wherever you're sending it.
Yep. So you log into Edison and then do SCP. Well, you are sitting on the Edison and you are pulling it from Photon to there.
Okay, number of transitions is the one used for down.
I doing fine? You're like
I'm still feeling like I'm 2 weeks
Well,
behind, but
we're
getting
working together. I'm helping him with his density states and atomic spectra. He's helping me with heating.
Or at
Super.
least attempting to. I still.
you're very humble.
You were trying to show me something about those 2 files, the 2 directories you had placed in this in this one. I guess I haven't had a chance to actually look at those quite yet. We've just been focusing on this.
But I think you're really useful and helpful to each other, because in these 2 directories, his original files had k points with k points file with 2 k points along x.
Okay.
And you already made a discovery that since dispersion curves are flat, one can neglect dependence on k points and go only in gamma points. So in this new directories, there are only gamma point results.
Okay. So I should send those out for heating, or
For heating and molecular dynamics, it doesn't matter. But when you do DOS and spectrum and orbitals, gamma point is so much more preferred.
Okay.
Okay?
So redo everything I just did right here with those models. Alright. And then I still haven't gotten anything back successfully from even the file we submitted yesterday. It didn't complete. So just keep resubmitting it and keep giving it more time.
I'm quite not understanding what do you mean. What is not incomplete?
Like
How do you define it?
the Slurm file comes back and says terminated abnormally. Or just continue with the next step and run molecular dynamics on it and see if it gets something productive.
Send me the link. I'll try to stop by and look at your files here, but you're so productive with helping each other, so keep doing. It surprises me a little.
Okay, that's.
Do you see how does Aussie car file looks?
Okay, I was assuming that if the Slurm file didn't come back as terminating normally, that it was just.
No.
No?
You are a perfectionist and you believe that everything should be perfect around you, which is not always.
Okay.
Even if there is no like it doesn't report healthy termination, it can do a lot of useful things, and output can be useful. So look while it is going. Do not wait until job is complete or incomplete. Look inside the directory because it generates data as we go.
Okay.
And one of these files are Aussie car, like more Aussie car or tail Aussie car. So it reports as how far you are.
Okay.
Look on it and let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
There is a chance that everything is perfect. You're just like a little spoiled kid, expecting too much candies.
I'm just used to things I'm used to something errors out that I've wasted weeks or months.
Oh, I'm not exercising. This motion was too much for me.
Yesterday, when I so this is my Concar XY file after the molecular dynamics below the. I have this files.
Okay, so you for your data max energy,
So this is what I have done after geometry optimization. I heated below the TG and the molecular dynamics also below the TG. So I have the TG is 378. So this I heated at 300. It's the same the Inca file what you have given. Then after I got the Concar XYZ file here, sorry, outcar XYZ file, and so I put it the outcar of that here. Now it's showing like something absurd.
I guess you don't have
What will be the reason for this diagnosis?
Well, do you have video Mac? Video Mac.
What is that?
Okay. The Kurt can teach all of us how to do it, but we all need it, especially on personal computers. So try to convert whatever dynamics you do, convert it into video file and upload to YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Let I'll return. You're feeling good?
Yep, I'm mostly waiting for stuff to finish now that I know
Okay.
how to use it.
Kurt, can I invite you to the stage and teach all of us one particular thing? He will be back. It will take no more than 5 minutes. So,
Yay!
crap. You're on the record. So, can you please show steps which everyone needs to do towards getting video Mac on the computer, even if it will not allow you to
At least try to get to it. Okay.
to make actual installation.
Okay.
And try to comment what you're doing. So, who does have video Mac on personal equipment?
One person.
One? Are you kidding?
Who doesn't have video Mac on personal equipment? Who understands what is video Mac and why it is needed?
Wait, is Video Mac VMD?
Yes.
No.
What you need for VMD.
Video.
There are two components: VMD itself and video Mac, which is a really small thing, utility on your personal computer. But
It's like an add-on.
without video Mac, VMD is not working at its full capacity. And right now, look carefully, watch carefully what Kurt is doing. The animated video YouTubes will be mandatory part of the rest of the course. With this video Mac, as combined with your VMD, you will not be able to do these things. So look what and please comment what.
Okay. So simply Google for video mock. It should be one of the first couple links. The company is this Gramada. Don't buy the licenses. You won't need it for our purposes. For Windows, just simply click download. Looks like it's got about 10 seconds. The main thing that VideoMock is doing is it's taking all those individual frames that you get and actually putting them into a movie in a convenient way.
Is this for any?
I haven't looked to see if there's a download for different operating systems.
If you are a big Linux supporter, there is an ImageMagick package, and then you just type ppm ffmpeg, and then list all your images, and then it will combine.
So.
Not part charge files. Snapshots of molecular dynamics. Also, in both Linux, Mac, and PC, there are standard packages for making movies. If you have a set of snapshots, there are ways to combine them into movies, but it will be big pain in the part of the body. Installing Video Mac is the simplest and quickest. Did you got what Kurt was showing?
Well, it looks like it. What's it called?
Yeah, the actual company that makes the product is Gramada.
Wait, so we can just Google Video Mac and download it from there?
Yes, it's a just
And
don't.
If you're working on your personal equipment, you have all privileges to install it. We just cannot do it on public.
Yep, and there's no, remember, once again, no need to pay for the licenses for our purposes. No, you actually have to navigate to the file location. If you go back to the presentation I gave at the last time we had presentations, that it's in there. It should be like program files _x86. Look for VMD, and then in there should be like vmd.exe. You'll need to link that file path to, or VideoMock. You need to link that file path to VMD in order for it to know how to talk to it.
So, in addition to all heavy things that we are doing, please try to install Video Mac on your laptops. And if you experience problems, here is your big helper. Yes?
Question.
You also want to help everyone?
Yes, I can help.
Good.
Tomorrow, is it going to be presentation, or will we have some time dedicated for projects, or just simply presentation to go over the write-up part?
Paper.
So, little announcement. And by the way, if you need to go, it's fine. There is no like certain necessary problem. So, tomorrow I will basically repeat. So if you are Gage or Ben, I will repeat N-2 lecture from PCAM, where Ben was helping to pronounce Latin things. Maybe I will slightly update it. So how successful, or not quite successful, but you all have accumulated a lot of data, right? And because semester is close to completion, We cannot wait until your data becomes better. We need to put it in the written reports. And it is very big task and intellectual challenge to organize data and describe them in a logical way. So I'm not super strong in this, but I'll try to share experience and give some guidelines how to do it. How to squeeze like 100 gigabytes of data that each of you generated into 4 pages of written report. Right? So it will be main task of tomorrow lecture. Okay. Make sense? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Everything work well for your project?
Sort of right now, I have to figure out like we're gonna make them work, so.
Okay, so generate some questions if you
Yeah.
have some. And
just around. Oh yeah, sorry.
your system before now it's in the optimized state.
Yeah.
You may try to screen through different N up down and make spin polarized those.
Okay.
Oh, no, Anas is too cool. He's not gonna be here.
Maybe it'll be. Thank you. I have to go. Big presentation tomorrow on Friday. Friday I'll be emailing you. Or
What is tomorrow?
for me, I have a big presentation.
Oh yeah, good luck.
Friday.
Good luck for your presentation.
Thank you for your help.
David, you request some help or?
So the major thing.
I'm with you. I'm just checking if.
So,
So you have some questions.
I have one quick question. That's not
Do you permit him to ask a quick question? Oh, thank you. You deserve a medal of most patient member of the course.
I'm so patient. No worries, it's fine.
Okay. I have an idea. What is your question?
So,
Why here it has organs on both sides and you have on one? This?
I was more why the color for these seems to, and I'm not finding where it was changing before, am I? Oh yeah, I am. Why the color over cesium, the chlorine, and the seem to be changing together.
But they all
On the option, I just didn't click on it.
But you better practice this option. Yeah, periodic here.
There it is. And that's
Z.
Z.
And I'm getting.
I got really odd colors right now.
No, not colors, but when this three-dimensional perspective, I'm going to faint. If you want to have mercy to me, please select orthographic.
And I did make these for them. I just didn't download them to this machine.
And for the course, you are super fine. But if you continue this, you may take. Well, there are 1,000 options of expanding, but one of them is keeping the same ligands but having more layers.
More layers.
And see how this progression will look like.
Okay.
This is good because it is one of the very few examples in the science where you can support your computations with pen and paper equations.
Okay.
So, most patient medal holder.
Okay, so here we go. I've been trying to run for what's the word? Spin.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so yeah,
So, what is PAJ?
it just randomly came up.
You selected it. It's not official.
It's nothing. Believe me. So yes, I was trying to do like photo spin to get like the.
Okay.
So I tried to run it here. Wait. Guess it's not here. Does that function again?
But
Can't remember what. Okay, so it's fast Fulton. Okay. So squiggly. You remember fast Fulton?
no, tell me what you need and
I'm
tell.
just trying to run the Fulton on like the Fabs on Fulton here.
Okay. So your system is small enough. Wait. CPFH states it's too many commands and.
Oh no, that was
Oh.
the typo.
Okay. Okay, this is a small system. Where is your ice?
I spin 2.
Okay. What is your goal?
I'm trying to get the spin of those.
So you're not going to plot spin orbitals right now.
I'm trying to plot it.
Wait. There are three simple things that all of us doing. Density of states,
Yeah.
absorption, and orbitals.
Yeah.
Which of them is your first focus?
Well, I've done the DOS for MD and heating, and I'm trying to do the spin orbitals.
I'll bring a piece of paper and we need to. It's too small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, no spin. With spin. Optimize. And after optimize geometry, you can do those absorption orbitals. Then after optimization, you can do heat and MD. After that, you do single point. And from this, you do DOS, absorption, and orbitals.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have no spin. Now, if you do have spin, basically you can do the same. You can start from this geometry. You can either you need to do again optimize with spin and make DOS with spin.
So you have to do it from the scratch.
Absorption with spin. Orbitals with spin. Things may look quite differently.
Okay.
Not for any system. Like if you have like even number of electrons and atoms, then spin is not needed. If you have like benzene.
Okay.
But if you have chance for bond breaking, if there are free radicals, if there are transition metals, well, you don't have transition metals, but your thread may break, may get into radicals, then spin is needed. And then here again, you do, well, heat with spin, MD with spin, single point with spin, which comes from this geometry. And then do again DOS with spin, absorption with spin, orbitals with spin. Right? So you're doubling your task that you are giving to yourself.
So I think I've been able to do this side all the DOS for this part.
There is a little cheating step that is excusable. You can skip those and from molecular dynamics without spin, make single point with spin and do this. So this is approximation, but it works. In most cases, it is okay.
Okay. So from MD,
Yes. Yes.
you can add spin to it and
Yes.
then decide to.
Yes, but in some sense, amount of data and amount of figures and amount of calculations doubles if you want to add spin.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, in some sense, it is new calculation. It's new system.
Oh, I see. All right. So so for the you were talking about the part geometry, right? I was wondering, can you like in any way start me up with that? 'Cause do we have to do it before and after?
Well, I cannot promise that looking on part charges on orbitals will bring so much scientific inspiration for each system. But it is a good test, and just aesthetically, it's I love orbitals. Looking at them, it sometimes brings a lot of ideas. Maybe they will look differently, maybe not, but it is worth of checking. So, did you compute orbitals for you before and after?
This is what I have. So let's see.
Alright, thanks, dude. So yeah, thanks, man.
So these are my 3 files there. This was before. So everything for before, and these are the after files. I think I'll have to delete the spin now. So
No, don't delete. Never delete things. Who knows? Maybe you change your mind later.
Okay.
Just give new names.
So this is the initial file I had, the DOS. And
No, I do not.
you did not see orbitals, right?
I don't see. So things are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things going good.
So I haven't done
The RFT calculation,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to calculate that. So what are the comments needed?
Remind me by email. It would take like 10 minutes for me to show it, but I need to help everyone is in little things. I'll send an email.
Okay, thank you. So will I need to remind you?
Please, because there are many things, and we may postpone it to a little later time because I'm like busy until very late tonight and tomorrow morning. So I'll try to answer maybe tomorrow evening.
Okay, no
But
problem.
start reminding right now. I really want to share it with you because your project will benefit a lot.
Yes, okay, no problem. And is there any way of copying a whole folder into Edison?
Yeah, exactly.
He showed me
Exactly.
how to copy one file.
No, rsync. There is a command. So replace SCP with this thing, and the rest is the same.
Rest is the same?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Is that you?
V like Victor.
Okay.
1% source. So rsync minus AV.
And then also source and destination, same as for SCP.
So SCP will be replaced with rsync minus AV.
Mm-hmm.
Minus
Yes.
AV.
AV, yes. Yes. So you don't have per charge files.
No, I don't have per charge.
Okay, but
That will be clear.
let me. Mm. So this directory is before molecular
That
dynamics.
is all before molecular dynamics. So if I can do at least for before molecular dynamics, I can go back and do for all of them.
Make directory. And do you prefer doing calculations on Photon or on Edison?
It doesn't matter.
Do you have Edison open somewhere?
I have over here. I have Corey open.
Okay. Sure. It doesn't want to connect? It does want. Core is more powerful, but it is
Really occupied.
yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we do need wavecar.
And the incar will be copied from
Template.
template.
Conquer into Oscar. '64. $40 minus, go from -10 to 2.
Did you say -10 to 12?
To 2?
Okay, to 2. Oh, so it's this band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
didn't start yet. Can we do this?
Yeah. I think this is one you're running it on.
No, this is on Edison.
Okay. Are you trying to connect it with Curry?
No,
Photon?
yeah, Photon. I think here, right? Star. So everything final project into there.
Yeah.
Oh, you have some part charges.
Yeah, I do.
You do. That's good. And those started to, yeah, here they develop pretty quick. So it's like Boston, East Coast. It makes me crazy, like, oh, it's so far away. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I tried. It wouldn't.
Or you try to motivate yourself to.
Yeah, now I had.
Just compliments. What was not done. Okay. So you have two sets of more than two.
Oh, I see. So I created what I was doing was I created these files in a folder and I created them on Curry as well. So whenever I was transferring, I transfer from one, like just take it. So that's why if you go back to it, yeah, that's why I have this bin. I was transferring into this. It's just trying to keep order so I don't like mix things up. So whatever in this in here is also in this.
But those is what we created.
But anything here was before MD and there's other files is after. this tab to try to.
24, 49. Oh, because it is. I never thought that we will have systems with small number of orbitals.
So you use the whole different file.
I just slightly modified because they have few digits. Typically, files have 3 digits in there. What's a HOMA number?
HOMA?
HOMA.
Oh, I didn't check it yet.
Fuji?
This is for before any process was done.
Sometimes this is quicker and cheaper than doing actual 3-dimensional orbitals.
Okay.
Can you grab this and put into your PowerPoint? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
to like contact you when I'm doing it for the MD and the heating part. Because I see some really strange stuff.
Oh yeah, please. Do you have a specific designated place, or?
Well, I haven't created a file for this. You can create a new folder here. Just create.
How do I find the folder that I just created?
Did we create it on the desktop? Let's see if you just actually just do it old school. My PC is beginning to cry out to this program.
Maybe we need to do something with this menu. It's still active. Interesting.
It froze. But don't close it.
But inside here, it's not a. So it works.
Yeah, I think it froze. Just to look the only pieces crying. That's why.
But you got how to plot the orbitals.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look through it.
And were you able to plot orbitals with VMD?
Like plotted or
Three-dimensional.
three-dimensional? I haven't done that yet. I haven't explored it yet. No.
So I'll check if anyone else needs help, but if you restore this one and bring up VMD, you have it?
Okay, I'll try to restore it then.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I
I have VMD on here.
Okay, and then we'll try to do it.
No, I don't take much time of
Did you set up Video Mock?
No, I didn't set up.
You should. You must.
Okay.
I have a really quick question. Sorry, okay. So everything's loaded up. I don't know where the orbitals are. I have my power charge 260, 261, and then
Yep. Oh, thanks.
like I feel like I'm missing something. The details.
Aha! I like your questions. It's the sort of questions I was expecting. By the way, it looks frozen right now.
Okay, that can move.
So we do not need this one.
Okay. Maybe I selected something wrong. I mean, I messed up here too, so I don't know. Yeah, that was it. I think. Looks like.
So now I found where we are. Solid surface. Again, there are so many balls that may interfere. Is it occupied or unoccupied?
The 260 would be
Occupied.
yes, the occupied. Oh, there it is. So I just had to make it bigger.
To change the isosurface value.
Oh, okay. So that was okay.
Yeah.
Why is it like? Oh, because there's a wall here that's cutting it off.
And it reappears from other
Right,
side.
right.
Right.
So.
Okay. If you are in doubts about resolution, this solid surface is, opaque is okay, but if sometimes transparent is.
I like transparent actually.
But then
you don't really see it, do you?
Right now you do have this fancy background.
Oh, I gave it a blue. Try to.
Yeah, but if you do complete white.
Yeah.
It would be better on papers because
Okay,
some charges for.
Your call will be disconnected.
That's okay. And maybe make this size of the spheres for.
So why did we need this one? I understand why we need this one, just to give us the overall, and then put the orbitals in. We needed all three, right? He told me that we needed that file.
He is correct. I do have answer. I'm just need to line up words in the right sequence.
Sure.
I'm not super good at this. So this bond radius sphere scale, just so that it doesn't interfere. There are two different tasks for that VMD is doing. One is to plot atomic structure, and another to plot orbitals.
Okay, so
if you do not do this one,
then you won't see it.
We should toggle display it.
Okay, yep.
So you have your orbitals, but does it help you?
No, it doesn't, because you need where they're at.
Reference.
Got it. So that's the given it's like sort of like the background, and then you plot your density. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, and so if I wanted to do if that's the HOMO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the LUMO would be 261, right? So I go back over here, do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we're not seeing it yet because I have to fix it. Okay. Well, that was.
Is there a chance that they are either? Oh, no. It's here. I see.
Oh, it was hidden. It's a little guy then.
Yeah. So you need to go to solid surface. What are these things? I don't know, but